Welcome back to Arise Prime Time. I'm Charles Iniagulu. Now for a sharper perspective and a better understanding of Saturday's governorship ballot and all the issues around it, including some that have been raised on the program today, I'm joined now in the studio by the journalist, political affairs commentator and Arise News analyst, Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
So what will this weekend serve up as a sort of glorious finale to Nigeria's election season? How much of a storm is that likely to be?
Finale indeed. It will be a storm because the governorship election is important. It is key to the progress of the people at the governorship level. The governors in this country usually act like emperors. They have wide-ranging powers. They take delivery of resources and other materials from the federal government and from the state on behalf of the people. But most times they're usually not accountable. So the person that is your governor matters. And when you also look at the Nigerian political space, there is a huge dichotomy between different states. So you can easily identify, category one, maybe states that are doing very well, they've had very good leadership, consistent, so they are on a path. Then the second category are people that are average, so not so consistent. They have a good governor this term, next term they don't have a good governor. And then there's a third part that is flailing dreadfully behind. They're neither here nor there. So this governorship election is key, not only for those reasons, but also for the different parties, the APC, the PDP, and Labour Party. Haven't seen that the Labour Party almost upended the electoral map during the presidential election. This is going to be keenly contested.
And of course, as you identified there are differences depending on the state. But let's take Lagos, for example, which is Nigeria's richest state. We've heard a lot of fears being expressed about the potential for ethnic tension and violence in those states in an attempt to stop, competing parties from gaining more or, in that race. I mean, what is your assessment of that?
The reports that are coming from Lagos, it's a shame, really. We saw it during the presidential election. It's not new. It has been the playbook of the APC in the last 8 years, or even before the APC, when Bola Tinubu was governor, and then it graduated into the APC government, and it has happened again and again. We shouldn't be. That has not deterred people, though. Yes, there is that ethnic division and shouldn't be, because Lagos is cosmopolitan, and in every cosmopolitan city it is diverse, a mix of different people. What you're going to see is it's going to be a tough battle between the parties, APC, Labour, and the PDP, especially because I think the APC was shocked that they lost the presidential election in that state. The governor of the APC, Sanwo-Olu, refused to attend debates during the debates for the governorship candidate. And then when they lost the presidential election, he started flying up and down, talking to people, tailoring messages to reach the people, because he realized that maybe his benefactor may not carry him across this time around. Even if there is violence, voter suppression, I think that people are determined to come out and vote.
Well, talking about his benefactor, we've also heard that, in fact, he might be more focused now on Lagos State, because during the presidential period, the presidential election, I mean, he was obviously looking at the bigger country and looking at his opponents on that level. But now that he feels reasonably secure, having been named as the president-elect, he's now going to focus more on Lagos State. That's what's been suggested. We'll have to wait and see if that makes any difference. But these elections are generating a lot of attention, and much of that attention is on the Electoral Commission, INEC, because so much is at stake after the challenges of the presidential election.
Yes, you're correct. There is a lot of attention on INEC. People are gravely concerned, truly worried, and hoping that what happened in the last election will not happen again. But you know what, Charles? Because there have been changes. I mean, Labour won 12 states, to the shock of many, I think two things have happened. People are beginning to realize that they actually have the power to blow out of the water sit-tight leaders if they, they really come out there to vote, despite all the problems and glitches. Secondly, people are also realizing maybe this might not be a 100-meter dash. It is going to be a marathon. So guys, fasten your seatbelt. We are not letting this go. So even if in this election, in the governorship, they do not get all the states they want, I think this movement, like Aki Oshintoku said, is going to continue. It's going to be a marathon. We'll see more of it.
That's an interesting analysis. But of course, the short term is the election on Saturday.
Right.
Do you expect it to be a hitch-free election? Can Nigeria actually run hitch-free elections?
It is difficult to say, seeing what happened. A lot of people think the government is not reliable. So we're gearing up for the usual stories of, problems, glitches, IRF, beavers, and things like that. But like I mentioned earlier, it's not going to stop anybody from coming out. The sense is that, okay, you do what you're going to do.
You do your worst,
yes,
we'll do our best.
Exactly, well said. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
A couple of states, do we have time? A couple of states to look at: Lagos, Rivers, hotspots, Rivers, Kano, Kaduna, Benue, I think Oyo as well. These are going to be very interesting states in addition to others.
Constance, thank you very much indeed. Dr. Constance Ikokwu is an Arise News analyst. She's also a journalist and political affairs commentator. Thank you.
You're welcome.